Good evening, boys and girls. Welcome back to Lucy's Literacy and Literature Corner. I'm your host, Sammy, and tonight, in honor of Black History Month, I'm wearing, first of all, my Malcolm X sweatshirt. Malcolm X is absolutely one of my most favorite people in history. He is such a misunderstood figure. And the next book that I'm going to purchase and read to you will be about Malcolm X. I looked one up online last night, and I'm going to go get it at the bookstore because I'm not an online shopper for the most part. I like to go and walk the stores. And I'm really excited that they have a book about him for kids your age. It says 1st through 4th grade, but I would argue that I can read a book like that to kids all the way up to 8th grade, because a lot of youngsters such as yourselves do not know who Malcolm X is, and that is a tragedy. And if there is going to be one person who takes responsibility for teaching you about Malcolm X, it shall be me. Yes, it shall be me. But anyway, besides my Malcolm X sweatshirt, I'm going to be reading you a book tonight by an African-American author named Faith Ringgold. And this is actually her first book. It's called Tar Beach. Tar is what they use to make roofs with, like the roof of your house. It smells really bad, but that's what they put on top of roofs to make them, to make sure that they don't leak. No water gets inside your house from the ceiling. That's what tar does. And beach, tar beach. When I think of a beach, I think of the ocean and sand, but we're talking about a tar beach. So I want you to think about that title, and I want you to also think about the story element of setting. So setting is where a story takes place, and it is one of the many story elements that you're probably learning about in school. Plot, theme, which we talk about a lot, and setting. Characters are another element of the story. We're focusing tonight on the setting of this story in relationship to the title, Tar Beach. And we're going to take our picture walk. We're going to get to see where this story is taking place. Figure out the setting through our picture walk, looking at the pictures, which, by the way, Faith Ringgold is not only the author of this book, Faith Ringgold is also a painter. And I should say is or was. I'm not sure if she passed away or not. So she was a painter and a writer, or is a painter and a writer. I hope she's still alive and living well. But right behind me, I have an example of a painting. This is an original painting. It's actually my uncle's. I am blessed and lucky to have one of his original acrylic paintings. But when my uncle wanted, like, let's say he gave me this one, but somebody else wanted a copy, he would make what you call prints. That's what an artist does when they want to recreate the same image. There's no way you can repaint the same thing the same exact way. So if somebody wants this exact painting and they can't have it because it's mine, they'll make a print of it. That's how they make copies of paintings. They're called prints. And so that's exactly what Faith Ringgold did with her book, her first book, Tar Beach. She painted these pictures and then turned them into print to create the art for this book. So let's take our picture walk. Remember, we're thinking about the setting of this story. Does this look like the suburbs? Does this look like any specific city you know? Does it look like a city at all? Does it look like the countryside? Does it look like a farm? By the way, Black History Month was my absolute favorite month in school when I was a teacher, because not only did I love to teach, but I also loved to learn myself about so many of the amazing, irreplaceable, influential African-American figures in this country. in this world, who represented this country and did great things for this country, for the world, and should be recognized. Yeah. Actually, I didn't know much about Malcolm X myself until I had to teach about him. And that was pretty sad. I'm not sure if you were lucky enough to have an educator who taught you about Malcolm X the same way that they teach you about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. But I would argue they are equally as great. And in fact, in my opinion, Malcolm X was just a little more relatable as a human being in the world. He has an amazing story, and I can't wait to tell you all about it. And all about him. Like many great men, Malcolm X, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Mohandas Gandhi, who was an Indian teacher, Mahatma, that means teacher, and they called him Mahatma. These great men who speak great truths about things that some people in power don't want you to know about. Unfortunately, these men were all assassinated. And actually, as part of Black History Month, Malcolm X was assassinated on February 21st, 1965. So that is part of American history and African American history. Okay. This book, Tar Beach by Faith Ringgold. My first book is for my mother, Emmy. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's just comma M-M-E. Mammy, Emmy, me, Willie Posey, who took me to Tar Beach and everywhere else, if she could be here now. And for my 3 grandchildren, Faith, Theodora, and Martha, they are all strong readers and can fly. And for my children, Michelle and Barbara, they are women now, but I knew them when. And for my husband, Burdett Ringgold, who keeps my feet on the ground, it was he who reminded me about Tar Beach after all these years. I will always remember when the stars fell down around me and lifted me up above the George Washington Bridge. There's a clue about the setting right there. Does anyone know where the George Washington Bridge is? I do. I've been across it many times. I could see our tiny rooftop with Mommy and Daddy and Mr. and Mrs. Honey, our next door neighbors, still playing cards as if nothing was going on. And BB, my baby brother, lying real still on the mattress just like I told him to, his eyes like huge floodlights tracking me through the sky. Sleeping on Tar Beach was magical. Lying on the roof in the night with stars and skyscraper buildings all around me made me feel rich, like I owned all that I could see. The bridge was my most prized possession. Daddy said that the George Washington Bridge is the longest and most beautiful bridge in the world, and that it opened in 1931 on the very day I was born. Daddy worked on that bridge, hoisting cables. Since then, I've wanted that bridge to be mine. Now I have claimed it. All I had to do was fly over it for it to be mine forever. I can wear it like a giant diamond necklace, or just fly above it and marvel at its sparkling beauty. I can fly. Yes, fly. Me, Cassie Louise Lightfoot, only 8 years old and in the 3rd grade, and I can fly. That means I am free to go wherever I want for the rest of my life. Daddy took me to see the new union building he is working on. He can walk on steel girders high up in the sky and not fall. They call him the cat. But still, he can't join the union because Grandpa wasn't a member. Well, Daddy is going to own that building because I'm going to fly over it and give it to him. Then it won't matter that he's not in their old union or whether he's colored or a half-breed Indian like they say. Let me read that page over again. Well, Daddy is going to own that building because I'm going to fly over it and give it to him. Then it won't matter that he's not in their old union or whether he's colored or a half-breed Indian like they say. I hear some anger. He'll be rich and won't have to stand on 24-story high girders and look down. He can look at his building going up. And Mommy won't cry all winter when he goes to look for work and doesn't come home. And Mommy can laugh and sleep late like Mrs. Honey. And we can have ice cream every night for dessert. Next, I'm going to fly over the ice cream factory just to make sure we do. Tonight we're going up to Tar Beach. Mommy is roasting peanuts and frying chicken, and Daddy will bring home a watermelon. Mr. and Mrs. Honey will bring the beer and their old green card table. And then the stars will fall around me, and I will fly to the Union Building. I'll take BB with me. He has threatened to tell Mommy and Daddy if I leave him behind. I have told him it's very easy. Anyone can fly. All you need is somewhere to go that you can't get to any other way. The next thing you know, you're flying among the stars. And that's the end of the story. So, I asked you to think about the title and the setting of this story. You got to see the pictures, the illustrations, the prints, the paintings. Where does this story take place? Does it look like a city? And she's talking about a lot of different things here. And I want to ask you a question, another question. I'm going to let you think about it for a minute, and then I'm going to give you my answer. Do you think that she was really flying? I think that she was using her imagination. I think this book is metaphorical. A metaphor is when you explain a real life topic using, I can't explain metaphor tonight. Forget about it. It's been one of the longest days of my life, in my entire life today, so I am beyond exhausted. It was the perfect time for a bedtime story because I am overdue for bed. But it's a really beautiful story, and I hope you enjoyed it, because it's about using your imagination and how powerful that can be. So, laying on the roof of her building like a beach, Tar Beach, and thinking about all the hardships in her and her family's lives, and using her imagination to take her away from all those troubles. Boys and girls, all of us out here struggle with something. Or if you haven't yet had any struggles, one day, I'm sorry if I'm the first person to break it to you, but life's gonna get hard on you. It's just part of the process. It's part of being alive. highs and lows, ups and downs. That's for all of us. And sometimes the best thing we can do is use our imaginations, our minds, to take us somewhere else. Our minds are so powerful. Your perspective, your perception, what you do with your thoughts about everything that happens will create your reality. So even if they were poor and living in a gritty city with lots of poverty and racism, she used her imagination to rise above that. And look what she became. An author and a painter, and a well-known one at that. So happy Black History Month. That's your first Black History Month story for the month of February. I love you all so much. Thanks for watching and have a great night. Bye.